just one of those things. I gotta fix my bangs because I'm dancing like a maniac. Let's make sure it focuses. Wow, when I wear blue, I am like extra pale. Hello, I am a colon. Oh no, that's too dark. That's too dark. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Kristen Martin. I'm a light worker, an author, a creative entrepreneur, a YouTuber, a podcaster. I like to do all the things. All the things. If you watched yesterday's video, then you are aware that we have started something called the Whole4 Challenge. Yesterday was day one. We talked about having a wealth mindset, and today is day two, where we are going to talk about the concept of holistic wellness and also like on the spiritual side of things, which is really, really fun. So real quick, if you have not signed up for the challenge, you can do that. Click on the link in the description box below and you can get your free workbook download. So how was everyone's day one? How did that go? How did it go listening to all of the thoughts in your head, recording them, writing them down? I'm so curious to know how many you had. Like I said, when I first started doing that exercise and that activity, I had over 78 limiting beliefs that would pop up in a day, which is crazy. I still have limiting beliefs pop up every now and again. I'm just better at catching them, and I have that empowering belief that we talked about yesterday. It's quicker now for me. It's like a snap, and I'm like, oh, there's Bertha again. She's running her mouth. And I have that empowering belief that's already laid out, ready to go in my mind, where I can just grab onto that. The biggest thing with an empowering belief is you have to make sure you actually believe it, or that's something that you can get your emotions behind. That's really, really important, because if you, otherwise it's not an empowering belief, it's just like words that are thrown together, right? Okay, so today's topic is one that I'm so excited to talk about, and I think it's definitely going to speak to a lot of the women out there in the audience, which is the majority of my audience. Like 90% of you are women. So for the 10% of you who are, who are men, I think this is still important for you to listen to, actually, because a lot of women's issues around like body image and just our overall health in general stem from a lot of what society has been putting out there. And in case you weren't aware, we are living in a patriarchal society. I think things are starting to shift a little bit because we have a lot of empowered women coming out and speaking their truth. Yes, I'm with her, right? Okay, so with this patriarchal society, I'm sure there's a bunch of guys watching like, oh God, here we go, a feminist. Yes, I am a feminist. I am a feminist because I believe that all people should have the same rights, should be paid what they are worth. So anyways, I won't go off on that tangent. But yes, I'm a humanist. I'm a humanist. I believe that everyone deserves to be treated with respect and kindness. And if you don't believe that, you can click the X on this video and go watch something else. But I hope you'll stay because you are the one that really needs to hear this. So here it goes. Women for far too long have been told by society, by the media specifically, what our bodies should look like, how we should behave, how we should dress, how we should look, how we should do our hair. There's so many things, right? There's so many things that we are told how to be, how to look in order to be a woman, okay? So as someone who struggled with a pretty severe eating disorder in my earlier years in college, if you don't know about this, you can read my first personal development book, Be Your Own #Goals. But I did struggle with binge eating and then bulimia after going out for nights of drinking. And I'm sorry if you're like a younger person, but this is just my journey, and I'm here to share it. It's important to talk about these things, otherwise women feel like they're going through this same struggle alone. And again, I went to the Rise conference, and the one thing that every woman at that conference checked off on her list was, I hate the way I look, or I hate my body. Oh gosh, okay. And that just like really hit home for me because I was in that place, especially in college. Oh my goodness gracious. That's why the diet industry is like a multi-billion-dollar industry, right? They try to sell you all this stuff, the next diet trend or whatever fad that's going on at the time, like just drink cayenne pepper and water and like lemon juice and you will lose. The problem with this is that we are not all built to look the same way because we are all unique individuals. There's only one of you on this planet, and there will only be one of you ever on this planet. So why are you trying to look like her? So for day 2, what I really want to focus on is a sense of holistic wellness, because I think for women, especially when we think of our health or we think of wellness, we just go straight to the physical stuff, how we look on the outside, what our exercise routine looks like, and also, you know, the things that we're eating. That's when you hear health or wellness, tell me if I'm wrong, but that's, as women, that's what we think of. We think of our body image. Like, are you healthy? The first thing you think of is what your body looks like. And so I want to help shift this perspective out of this just physical like being of wellness, you know, what our bodies look like. I want to shift that over to a more holistic view of wellness, which is why this category in the whole 4-wheel talks about the spiritual side, the mental side, the physical, the emotional, you know, all of that, because it's a holistic, there's not just one piece of your wellness and your health, it's a whole piece of it. And I can tell you, once you start paying attention to all of those other pieces, the body image thing slowly starts to fade away. So this is why we talked so much about mindset yesterday for day 1, because that's crucial. Because if you're telling yourself all of these limiting beliefs and all these terrible things about yourself and your body, then we need to start shifting that into an empowering belief. So because stories and other women's stories are so powerful, I'm going to share one with you that was very, very recent. And I left all the videos up on my YouTube channel. So if you go back to about 2 years ago, you can see me and my videos and what I physically looked like at that time. And I'm going to tell you what was going on in my life and in my head also during that time. Because when I went out to get healthy, which when everyone says like, oh, I want to get healthy, what they really mean is they want to lose weight. And that's not the approach. Because think about this, every diet trend or fad or whatever that you've ever been on, has it been sustainable? Has it worked? Are you back in the same place, still loathing your body and what you look like? For some reason, we just think if we try this certain diet or this trend or cut out carbs or stop with the sugar, we're looking for a quick fix. It's like we have this band-aid over the wound that's happening like inside of ourselves, the healing that really needs to be done. And we keep just like putting band-aids over it with all these diet trends and all these different fads. And we had to start peeling away the layers and ripping all the band-aids off to look at the actual wound and see what is going on there. And you guessed it, what's going on there is all up here. So about 2.5 years ago, I was really struggling with a lot of things. I was struggling with my relationship. I was struggling with, oh my gosh, there were so many things I was struggling with. I was struggling with my exercise routine, with eating well. I was really, really struggling with work because I was so stressed out. I was trying to grow my business and my platform here on YouTube. And so I was working myself to the bone, crazy hours in order to get videos up and get all this content out and also, you know, write and publish my books because I was hungry for it. I was hungry for this dream. But in doing that, I didn't go beneath the surface to really look at the issues as to like what was really going on with me. And so the weight started to pack on and I gained over 30 pounds in just like a couple of months. And I couldn't figure out what was going on because my exercise routine had like stayed pretty much the same because I've been very active my whole life. And my eating like wasn't great. So, you know, I was eating some fast food and a lot of pizza and a lot of bread because I am Italian. So I was eating a lot of bread, all the things, right? I knew I was like, okay, maybe I should have some more like fruits and vegetables, like put those into my diet. Maybe like I should eat a salad every once in a while. You know, we say all these things to ourselves. But what was really going on was that I had so much stress and I was carrying all this weight and this burden, emotional weight, spiritual weight, mental weight. I was carrying all of that and it was showing up in my external reality as physical pounds on the scale and physical pounds on my body. And you might think I'm totally bananas, but yes, I lost all of that weight without even trying. I did not go on some kind of diet. I didn't follow some stupid trend that was out there or listen to what the tabloids and the media were saying or follow like the Victoria's Secret diet, right? I didn't do any of that. I decided to start ripping all the band-aids off to go beneath the surface and see what was actually going on, to look at health as like in a holistic sense, mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical. So I started looking at all of the things that were stressing me out, all of the weight that I was carrying. I felt a lot of shame for various things. I felt a lot of guilt for and I say various things because if I go this video will be 5 hours long if I share every single thing, but that's also what the course that I'm launching is for, because I do go into and share my stories for each one of these topics. But anyways, okay, so I started ripping all the band-aids off and going beneath the surface to really look at all of this. And I found the number one stressor in my life at the time was my job, because I absolutely hated it. I hated that I had to wake up in the morning at 5 a.m. and try to get a workout in as quickly as I could. It was never a good workout. I was just half-assing it because I was I have to get in the shower and then I have to get in the car. And at the time I lived 35 to 45 minutes away from the office, depending on traffic. So that was just already stressful enough. And then also at that time, I had a boss who literally would be there from 4 a.m. to 9 p.m. He was always there. And so the minute I walked in the door, I felt like I was never ahead on anything. It was I walk in the door and I was already behind. So you can imagine the stress that would create. And so I felt really guilty and just ashamed because I just felt like I couldn't get all the work done. And when SOULFLOW comes out, I talk a lot about my overachieving tendencies and perfectionist tendencies, and I talk about all of that, so I go a lot deeper into that. But I felt like I could never do enough. It was just never enough. And so when you have the story of never enough playing in your head, then you're never enough for anything. So I started self-sabotaging and putting all of my eggs in one basket and really focusing on work because I felt the need to prove myself and that I was enough, that I was worth this job, that I was deserving of the job I was doing and what I was getting paid for doing that job. So I put all my eggs in one basket and just really focused on that, but was still building my platform and doing all this stuff. And I will say at that time my content was suffering too. I couldn't fully be myself because I was so focused on feeling ashamed and guilty for not getting my actual work done that I was getting paid for. So in that situation, what I really had to do was look at it, and at that point I already knew. I was I'm going to have an exit strategy at some point because I cannot do this anymore. I need to change departments. I need to do something to get out of this particular situation, whatever I possibly can, because it is affecting every other area of my life. And so that's what I did. There was an opening within the same company for a different role, and I knew that I needed to get out of this role, and I was qualified for that one. And I wasn't even fully qualified, but I was I'm telling myself I am because I can't do this anymore. And so I went and applied for that role, and it ended up being more of the same, but the point is I identified what the actual problem was and then found a solution. I figured out a way to fix it. I went, I thought outside of the box, went out of my comfort zone and did something to fix it. Because if I had stayed in that particular role with what was going on, that would have just been another band-aid, and I would have kept putting the band-aids on. So once I was in that new role, I had a bit more freedom. And so then I was able to start looking at my true physical health and really look at all of this and see what was going on there. And the biggest shift for me in terms of my physical health was viewing food as fuel and movement as energy. Because during this time too, I was sluggish, I was tired, I was drinking all the cups of coffee, I was staying up, into all hours of the evening. So I was I need to switch my perspective around on how I'm viewing food and how I'm viewing exercise and movement. So instead of putting pressure around certain workouts, I turned it into have I moved my body today? Have I done something physical? Even if it's not, some crazy workout, just going for a walk around the block, because every little bit counts. And same with food. Was I still eating bread and pizza? And would I still sometimes drive through for fast food? Yes. But I always ask the question, is this fuel for my body? And the times when I kind of messed up or slipped up, I was you know what, that's okay. I'll do this now, but I'm going to be better tomorrow, or I'm going to be better tonight because this is what I'm going to eat tonight, something to fuel me. And as I started focusing on it this way, my choices improved because I noticed I started feeling better when I was eating healthier. I noticed that I had more energy eating better and then also moving my body, just even going, taking Denali for a walk. I noticed I had more energy. That's why you see me dancing now before every one of my videos, because that's the movement that gets my adrenaline going, gets me like, it completely changes your physiology and your entire mood. Those are called endorphins. So if you are someone who is struggling with your body image, and you don't know why, this diet isn't working, or you think you're drinking a lot of water or doing this certain exercise plan, I want you to take a minute to really think about what else is going on in your life. Are you carrying some emotional baggage that you haven't unpacked? Is there something mentally that's going on where you're just, you haven't unpacked that either, or you haven't really dealt with it? Is there something deeper, like on a spiritual or on a soul level, like nudges that you've been feeling that you haven't been answering to? This is that time to start paying attention to those things, because only when you pay attention to those things and start ripping the band-aids off are you going to be able to fix the physical aspect of your life. Because whatever is going on up here and however you are feeling, that is going to shape your external reality. Whatever is going on inside is going to be reflected on the outside. So I'm looking at the timer on this video, and it is getting to be a little bit long, but this is exactly why I recorded a supplemental podcast episode specifically about the spiritual side of things. So if you open up your workbook to that worksheet that is labeled spiritual, the first box says my core values are spiritually I identify as. I'm going to explain in the podcast episode how to fill out that worksheet and also tell you my own story and my own journey in kind of like my, I guess you could say, religious or spiritual journey, right? So I'm going to open up about that, but I wanted to make sure that this video specifically, because I know how many women watch my channel, talked more about holistic wellness and not just focusing on body image and like what your physical reality looks like. So make sure you listen to that supplemental podcast episode. You can find it linked in the description box below, and go ahead and fill out that worksheet to complete day 2 of the Whole 4 challenge. That's it for today. I will see you guys tomorrow for day 3, where we will be talking about wonder and how to add more joy into your days. With love and light.